In all the previous twists and turns of this season, the IORA Cup Series has yet to see a road course in Season 4. With tonight, of course, that is going to change. James Thurston on your frame, coming off a victory off fuel strategy in Kansas, takes it down to upstate New York, and it's going to be the Schuyler County hosting the Big Apple Grand Prix at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. Great to have you all watching live again on FTN. 5th race of the season here at the Glen, and it's only going to be practice concluding in 35 seconds. Sean Conklin going to be the top of the charts with James Thurston then in second and Chase Schaefer in third. Sean Rowe and Joseph Armstrong round out your top 5 at this point, with drivers still taking extra practice laps. Qualifying going to be on its way. Road course qualifying with 10 extra minutes of time. It's going to be a total of 10 flat and a little more practice today to make up for a bit of a different style of racing entirely. Not just from oval to oval variation, taking left and right turns for the first time this season. Not every driver's had that experience so far in this league. Got multiple rookies coming in today. Drivers trying their hand at the IORA Cup Series, and they're looking to find out what they've got in store for the juggernauts. Conklin fastest in practice, then Thurston and Schaefer. And with practice concluded, now time to move on to qualifying. And as we move on now to our qualifying session, green flag not yet going to be waved. Vincent Guecci going to be the first man out. And as we get things going here tonight, going to be great, of course, to have you all aboard for an FTN doubleheader. Highline Racing League going to be immediately after this broadcast. I'll be hosting you for all the action night on FTN. David Kreutz producing and commentating. Great to have you all once again watching on the channel. It's been a thrilling season to this point. Daytona, Auto Club, Phoenix, and Kansas, and Watkins Glen. As a New York native, this is the home track here for the FTN team, and it's one of the best ones to visit if a road course is in mind for stock cars. Watkins Glen surely is up there at the top of the list. So for these drivers, a very familiar circuit if they have any road course experience with the next gens. It's not the most complex of layouts, but it does take precision. Anyone can be quick, but it takes a different type of driver to push to that extra 10%, make it past 100, and find out what's best for the run. Right now, TJ Hanley finds himself scored as the highest qualified man on the session, but he has not yet taken a lap. Nobody has so far. Vincent Guecci set to be the first man to take a lap here now. As they come through this time by under the Gold Bowling Bridge, Vincent Guecci will lead us through. Single car qualifying is under green, and your first driver to take a lap is now getting set to go. And multiple other drivers coming now to the start and finish line. Brandon Dugan just made it by. He'll take it through the 90 in the TH Designs number 55. Oliver Quinney comes through on debut. Sean Rowe is going to be that number 99 machine. The Xfinity paint scheme makes its debut on the season, and he made it through the first turn as well. Now up to the S's. Multiple drivers already onto their first lap, currently waiting on Joe Armstrong, TJ Hanley, and Joseph Tucker. Tucker is going to be one of those drivers looking to make his debut tonight if he does end up putting down a timed lap. 16 drivers have registered so far, and we're hoping to see all 16 make it to the start finish line at the end of our formation lap. 17 minutes and 52 seconds remain here in qualifying, but surely as the time goes on, that's not going to be how long we spend before the racing gets on the move. Sean Rowe is going to be taking it now out of the carousel and into our final segment of the circuit. Coming back from the carousel, going to be one more left-hander and a final right-hand turn, which takes you past the Jackie Stewart grandstands and onto the front straightaway as they make it through once again. The field going to be led no longer by Vincent Guecci. Now with time lapse on display, we'll find out who's truly the fastest. At the stripe, going to be a 1 minute 11.776, and Sean Rowe shoots up to provisional pole by over a second and a half. Brandon Dugan now going to be scored in second with Henry Kaloff getting in the mix. Now Kaloff's number 63 puts himself in fourth with a 1 minute 1:35. Sean Conklin already puts himself up to the pole position though, and Conklin once again looking competitive, already with 2 wins on the season, coming through both at Daytona and Phoenix, and nearly getting it done at Kansas as well. He has been the best man this season, but he says he's still not eligible to make a full-time campaign due to out of the sim obligations. Well, so far for this Ryko performance number 54, even if he's not able to go every race this season, he surely is putting up a case to fight for for a championship and become only the third driver ever to win an IORA Cup Series title. James Thurston, last season's champion. Daniel Mosteller, first and second season champion in a row. And Mosteller, with already a victory on the season, is the other juggernaut, fighting to make a bit of a rebound race out of Kansas. Not a good run there for this 87 Demos Hub team, so as he comes across the stripe and goes up to second on the qualifying charts, that's exactly what Mosteller needs. Now Demos jumps up to position number 2, and just like that, it's going to be the number 87 with a fighting chance at the pole. And now, except for Joseph Armstrong and Joseph Tucker, everyone else in the field has taken it at least once around the track. TJ Hanley going to be last of which to set a time lap. Going to be puttering out of the final corner just to make sure it's a safe lap. And at the line, coming at a speed of 140 miles an hour, TJ Hanley comes through with a 1 minute 18.417. So just like that, looks like now a total of 14 drivers have taken a lap. Looks like Hanley's will be invalidated due to some earlier issues in the lap, so not a clean run for him, and that's important. Here at Watkins Glen and all on the road courses, qualifying conduct is much stricter than that of an oval. Looks like Josh Kenyon going to join the session last minute, so another driver joining the party as TJ Hanley's now going to make it down to the bus stop chicane. He's going to try to get a bit quicker of a lap here, slowly but surely makes his way in, eats up the curbs just a bit, not going to go all out just to get around smoothly, and Hanley's going to put down what looks to be the penultimate lap in qualifying. If Josh Kenyon loads up quick enough, he'll have himself his own room to get through a few extra laps. Now Sean Conklin at the line going to be pushed back into second in qualifying. James Thurston up to the pole position by 68 1/1000ths of a second. Daniel Mosteller shot back into third as it looks like he will not be able to improve any further on his best lap. Sean Rose going to be scored fourth, and Chase Schaffer's then going to be in fifth, and Schaefer's going to be ahead of Jackson Carr and Alexander Balderas. Balderas now going to be up to position number 7 with a 112.223. TJ Hanley now going to put himself in 14th firmly, and just like that, with Hanley's lap out of the way, every driver who's taken a time so far tonight has put in the maximum of 2 laps. So we're waiting on Josh Kenyon and Joseph Tucker and Armstrong too, but it looks like if the Armstrong and Tucker duo of Josephs don't come on the track, only other driver set to take a lap will be Josh Kenyon, as he'll hope to shake up the order here in qualifying with 13 minutes and 56 seconds remaining. Save for Josh Kenyon, the rest of the field has their qualifying spots decided, and now Josh gets on the track into 0:27, looking to make a move and get out of the 15th and last spot on the order. And now with Josh Kenyon being on the way, all eyes are on this number 027 registering later than any other driver, and that means that he'll have a chance to set the final qualifying time this time around. Josh Kenyon, the 027 machine, going to make his way through, and the Chevy Camaro going to make it around with 13 minutes and 19 seconds left. Let's ride on board with Kenyon and see what's going on. Watching live now with Josh Kenyon and the number 027 machine. First start of the season for this Chevy Camaro, and he's looking to make it around smoothly through the final corners. Goes a bit off of course, the rumble strip there with the curbs. Makes his way nice and smooth under the Go Bowling Bridge, and now coming down to the start finish line, gets it loose in the grass and saves it to keep on going. So Josh Kenyon already sees his first lap almost entirely out the window. That is a detrimental loss of time, and you cannot afford to lose time in the most important spot on the track. The front straightaway goes very wide now through turn 1, and Kenyon already going to be in trouble on this first lap. Looks lost, and is going to go up the S's out of the preferred groove, and just like that, qualifying is going to be ending right before he gets through the second turn. Qualifying is going to be concluded, checkered flag is out, and now your grid has been set. Kenyon not getting the chance to put a lap in. And with the grid being set before our final driver takes the time, we have ourselves a starting grid full of talent. The iRacing official pace car already going to be set to lead the field through. Sean Rowe already going to be on the grid, but your top 3 drivers are Currently not. Starting grid already going to be set, and it looks like 17 drivers have registered for tonight's event in the Big Apple Grand Prix. So how's about we get to know who's who here in Watkins Glen. Without further ado, this will be your starting grid for the Big Apple Grand Prix. It's the 5th race of Season 4, and the IORA Cup Series will find familiar faces at the front of the starting grid. James Thurston's number 4 machine, coming off a victory at Kansas Speedway, finds himself once again at the top of the order, this time in qualifying. Pole position for the number 4, and then from there going to be Sean Conklin, second place for the 2-time winner here in Watkins Glen qualifying. Then from there, Daniel Mosteller, who got it done on the number 87, he was able to come through at Auto Club for his first and only win of the season so far. It's going to be Mosteller starting now in the 3rd spot, with Sean Rowe in the Xfinity number 99, then in 4th. Further on back, you're then going to see that Chase Schaefer is going to be 5th in the number 99, and Jackson Carr is then going to be in 6th, number 83 right there. And from there on out, Alexander Balderas in the number 95, going to be pushed a bit further back into the 7th spot, with Henry Kaloff then the number 63 right beside him. McDonald's in the number 95, new sponsor for Alexander Balderas. And then from there, Henry Kaloff in the Van Dyke number 63, just beyond the Great 8, you'll see Will Shack going to be 9th. Then from there, Brandon Dugan going to be qualifying in 10th, the 35 and 55 respectively, going to be starting as the final 2 drivers inside your top 10 tonight. Will Shack going to be right there now, getting onto the grid, and also with him will soon after be Brandon Dugan. But further on back, you're then going to see Braxton Whitaker in the 11th, and 12th place going to be occupied by Oliver Quinney, rounding out your top dozen in the triple digit number 999. Vincent Guecci going to be the man just outside the leading dozen, the 09 machine for Duncan, and hoping to run very well tonight. America runs on Duncan, and Vincent Guecci will be running in the 13th spot to start this race. TJ Hanley going to be in position number 14, getting a lap through. Clean was the priority for this team, and they did just that. So it's going to be TJ Hanley putting himself in position number 14, and he's going to now go way wide, missing the first turn. Joseph Armstrong going to round out your top 15 tonight, and it looks like the final driver on the grid will be Josh Kenyon and the 027, 16th and last of your drivers in this session currently. That will round out the starting grid for the Big Apple Grand Prix, Watkins Glen, race 5 of the season. Now time to find out what the field's got in store as your one and only iRacing official pace lap comes to you just before the racing begins. And now with drivers pacing for the first time tonight, we've already gotten through our qualifying procedure, and as always, very, very well-respected competitors at the front of the field. 35 laps tonight, and expecting no cautions unless there's a major incident that gets this race going. We should see the field spread out depending on who's quick and who is not. Different levels of pace around the road courses most often, so usually drivers are able to spread out and not have much trouble. 35 laps here with the next-gen stock cars, only one faster pair on display, so drivers do have that second chance in case they mess up. However, hopefully they will not need to use it, because it is of course going to be hard to make that time up without a yellow flag in mind. If you get bent up, have to take that faster pair, and no caution comes out for you, you could be in excess of 30 seconds behind the battle you were in beforehand. It might be a lap down while you're at it. So for James Thurston and Sean Conklin, Daniel Mosteller too, their job is to win again. They're your 3 current winners of the season. Conklin has 2, James Thurston and Daniel Mosteller have gotten 1 apiece. Your 3 best drivers so far this season, they are going to be at the head of the grid, and the best of the best looking to keep it going here in Schuyler County. Coming around this time for the start-finish line under the Go Bowling Bridge, the iRacing official pace car makes a hard left turn and is going to come in this time by taking a right as well. Green flag here for the lefts and rights of Watkins Glen International. Conklin and Thurston lead, and we've already got 3 wide heading into turn 1. And the caution flies immediately. And it looks like that one, over aggression immediately thereafter. And you saw it play out. We let it run. Shane Thurston, of course, James Thurston, Sean Conklin, all getting together. Daniel Mosteller, too, bringing out that yellow flag on the first turn of the race. Yellow flag will fly, and just like that, you'll see drivers pushing it 3 wide immediately as the race begins. So not going to be the cleanest of driving to kick things off, and unfortunately, that's what brings us to the yellow, taking it even further back here. 20 more seconds to look back on that start of the race. The initial start going to give us some trouble immediately here, so let's take a different angle and find out just what happened. And now you'll see Jackson Carr already going to take it 3 wide. Sean Rowe there too. Chase Schaefer going to take it 4 on the bottom side. Carr is going to hit then Sean Conklin. Thurston's going to get slippery and slidey. Daniel Mosteller finishes him off, and that's when it gets wild because Conklin is also going to spin. James Thurston is pounding the tire barrier, and the yellow flag immediately will fall on the first turn. 1 lap in, 1 caution in. We're back under pacing, and we said unless there's an issue on that first turn, we don't expect a yellow flag tonight. We just got it, and we're already under pacing 2 laps in out of our 35 scheduled for today's events. And just like that, yellow flag will fly. Chase Schaefer going to be able to usurp the race lead, getting into the top spot by avoiding all the wrecking. Sean Rowe's going to be position number 2, and Alexander Balderas is then going to be in 3rd. James Thurston still is going to be inside the 4th spot. He will be given a few spots back for not being the cause of the wreck. Sean Conklin spinning is going to fade back to 14th, though, losing almost all of his track position in the very first moments of the race. So it's going to be a hard-fought battle for Sean Conklin here, losing all that time so quickly. Luckily, does have a faster pair in mind, so he does not lose everything in the first lap, but still, so far back on track position, very hard to regain as the race goes on. Just like that, it is going to be Schaefer, Rowe, Balderas, 1, 2, 3, and Chase going to lead him around the Monster Zines number 99 as we are hoping to get back at it before lap 5. As they come around this time through, Chase Schaefer will take him down to the start-finish line with Sean Rowe following, and we'll see whether or not anyone comes down to pit road. Pit road is now open for drivers who hope to come down there. Thurston looks like he'll go through with Daniel Mosteller, bring Jackson Carr in 2 with a bit of contact there. They get away without much of a problem. Now it looks like the drivers involved in the most recent incident make it down and in. First caution, early troubles, as you'll see Joseph Armstrong fly by, Vincent Guecci too. Sean Conklin does opt to stay out, and he's going to fight for some track position as opposed to getting some damage repaired. TJ Hanley, Josh Kenyon also going to come in at the same time, and just like that, pit road is busy. 3 laps in, out of 35. Drivers make it in this time around, and it looks like now a smaller field up in front. Schaefer leads him, Sean Rowe then 2nd, and Balderas 3rd, and hopefully they'll get in formation and have a screen by the end of lap number 4. That looks to be the way things are going. Pace car still the lights on, but drivers already getting packed up, so we'll see if it's a shortened caution at the end of the lap. And already with these troubles that we saw on the first lap, some drivers who don't often get the opportunity to thrive at a road course being pushed up to the front of the field, namely Alexander Balderas up here in the 3rd position. River Page already in chat seeing Balderas up to that final spot on the podium, and making it through that wreck is a big deal for a driver like Balderas, who might not be the quickest of those at these road courses, but is still good enough to make it around as so long as he keeps his car clean. Now, keeping it clean, he just did, avoiding that wreck, and he has a chance to keep it up there as the racing continues, so long as he's able to avoid another incident that we might have here. It should be smooth sailing for this McDonald Chevy Camaro. Now up there into 3rd with Henry Caloff 4th, Oliver Quinney now into 5th, and Braxton Whitaker position number 6. Big changes already as the racing gets into its groove. It's going to be Braxton Whitaker now position number 6, right behind the top 5 of Quinney, Caloff, Balderas, Sean Rowe, and Chase Schaefer coming across this time by. Rowe comes down to pit road. Chase Schaefer is going to fake it out, and so does Sean as well. So now Sean and Schaefer up in front. Chase has the race lead, and at the stripe, 1 lap to green. It's official. We'll go back green at lap 5 and get back to going with 31 laps remaining. First caution going to be the result of some over-aggression on the behalf of all the leading drivers. Chase Schaefer, who went down low in a 4-wide move on the first turn, will be able to take that race lead and finds himself advantageous as they come across to the S's here, then the bus stop, and back to the start and finish line. Looks like still every driver who took the green flag is still with us. 16 of 16. Josh Kenyon down at pit road, 1 lap down. Jackson Carr 1 lap down as well, though. So 2 drivers already going to be down and in. And as they come through this time by, it looks like they'll be set to go without much an issue. Jackson Carr looks to be held for 1 lap here as Josh Kenyon has damage to repair, so we'll see how long the 2 drivers not on the lead lap remain on pit road. Right now, they've been there for at least a lap, so certainly not good at all given how we expect the race to go, but expectations have already been shifted after our first immediately yellow flag of the day. Caution out. First lap, and now we'll get on to lap number 5 with our first restart in mind. Chase Schaefer gains big, Sean Rowe does too, and that's the big story so far, but it also shifts up the overall strategy of the race. Now we are expecting to see pit road be hit at least once by every driver, no matter what here. So with this in mind, we've already lost some racing laps, and this is something we saw earlier in the week. Remembering our race at the Integrity Ignite Series event in Monza, we saw the first 9 laps go under yellow, 9 out of 30. So losing a lot of time under caution meant that the strategy got changed, and overall it was Justin Morton who got it done without going to pit stop once. He did not go for a pit stop at all, chose to stay on the track for all 30 laps, and that was an idea that seemed inconceivable when the race began, but sticking to the strategy, Justin Morton cruised to victory lane and got it done without going down to pit road. Now we might not see that tonight, expecting every driver to come in regardless of how much fuel they save, but now a few less racing laps off the table and we're set to go at it in racing conditions for the first restart of this event. Time to get it back in the Big Apple. iRacing official pace car down to pit road. Chase Schaefer and Sean Rowe will lead us, and the green flag flies yet again, led by the number 99 Ford Mustang. And while Chase Schaefer is able to drive away from the good majority of the field, one driver slipping and sliding at the back of the pack. It's going to be Oliver Quinney on debut. Luckily keeps it going, but he slid way deep into the tarmac. You saw Joseph Armstrong have some trouble in the first turn, but otherwise everyone keeps it going as Conklin now comes down to pit road. Sean Conklin is down and in. He'll come down to pit road for the first time today, and it looks like now Chase Schaefer going to be on the move with a race lead of 2 seconds to spare. Sean Rowe then going to be position number 2 with Alexander Balderas then in third. Looks like right now Balderas going to be in the middle of a Toyota sandwich. Sean Rowe getting the man in second. It's going to be Joe Armstrong now trying to fight for third. Joe's going to get it, and the Interstate Batteries number 22 moves up inside the top 3 for the first time on the night. Just like that, it's going to be Joseph Armstrong making a move into the top 3, and for this number 22 team, they know they still have a race-winning ability. Getting 1 win last season at New Hampshire, it has not been as successful a tour so far, of course. Part-time campaign last year, but making more races to start off the season now, so a bit more experience with the IORA Cup Series drivers. Oh, Joe Armstrong knows he can get it done if he positions himself rightly. He's got to race 2 very good road course drivers in Schaefer and Sean Rowe, and with Chase Schaefer's immaculate positioning, he's got a distance that he can work with as the night goes on. 6 laps in and a buffer of 2 seconds. Nice to see, especially with Sean Conklin going down to pit road and key competitors such as Mosteller, and in addition, James Thurston facing setbacks, but Demos already back up in a fourth and chasing the top spots, now going to be fighting to get by Balderas. He does so, and Joe Armstrong is the next target on the agenda. And despite that first caution, it looks like Daniel Mosteller able to make it nice and clean through the first few laps of this restart, getting it back on the way at lap number 5, and now on the move cleanly here in lap 7. 7 laps into 35, it's going to be the Demos Hub number 87 back on display. For the second time this season, we're seeing this paint scheme, and Mosteller, who's the 2-time champion of the IORA Cup Series, knows better than almost anyone else what it takes to win not only a race but a title here in the IORA Cup Series. Took an off-season, season 3. That's when James Thurston won his only championship so far, but Demos is looking for his second win of the season already, looking to tie Sean Conklin for the most wins on the tour so far, and if he does so, he'll be back in the championship running firmly after a dismal performance at the Kansas Speedway. Not within the top 20 for most of the race. Daniel Mosteller just did not look to be himself last week at Kansas, but now looks to be back in his more competitive form, chasing down Joe Armstrong and Sean Rowe just ahead of him 8 laps in at a 35. Armstrong, who's been able to make it up to the podium with some risky moves on the opening turn of the restart, stays in third for now, but Mosteller that time by was 0.6 of a second quicker than both he and Sean Rowe, so they're both slipping more and more. Not good at all if you're a driver like Armstrong or as Rowe, as they're not only losing time to Daniel Mosteller, they're losing time to the race leader of Chase Schaefer, and Schaefer is locking in. That time by ran the fastest lap not only of his race but his session so far. Chase Schaefer running a 1:11.382. While it's not the fastest lap in the race, it's his fastest lap to this point, and looking very good so far, with only Daniel Mosteller being any quicker. That time by, Demos ran a 1:11.042, so he's clearly as fast as it gets, and if Daniel Mosteller gets that track position back, he'll have a chance to fight for the win all the same. Look at the 87 now, going to be hounding the back bumper of Joe Armstrong as they come to the start-finish line once again. Looks like it's only going to be a 1:11.24 for Mosteller, still clearly quicker than the rest of the field, but not enough to make it by Armstrong or Sean Rowe, at least that time by. Look at how wide the drivers go through the exit of turn 1, and they're allowed to do so because that is the way NASCAR regulates the drivers in and out of that first turn. The 90, as it's called, a 90-degree corner, but drivers try to take it with a wide radius, knowing they can abuse that extra tarmac to make a much faster turn. Now, on iRacing, usually that is a track penalty, but given the way that this is a stock car league, and like the NASCAR Cup Series allows for, drivers can go as wide as they need. It isn't necessarily gaining time, but it is an advantage using paved surface. If you've ever gone to a Watkins Glen race in person, or if you've ever seen the racing on TV, turn 1 is taken much differently inside the sim than it is in the real world. So drivers here have that luxury of going as wide as necessary to make it a more realistic approach here on the sim. iRacing providing realistic experiences, and your lap 9 was presented to you live by Tango Paints. For high quality sim racing paint schemes and liveries for a price you can't beat, be sure to visit Tango Paints on Twitter for all information. No matter what type of stock cars or Indy cars, whatever you race on iRacing, Tango Paints has you covered. Tolo and the entire team, not only presenting all the action here live on FTN as our official graphic design partner, but they're joining the Full Send SuperSpeedway Series as they return to action on Saturday, and tomorrow we'll have all the information published for our first race, Daytona, 75 laps, and we are expecting a $100 season prize for the Full Send SuperSpeedway Series. Stay tuned for more information. Tango Paints, one of the premier partners of that league, and we'd love to have you join the fun. Tango Paints presenting lap 9 to you here on FTN, and we bring it back after a brief promotional message courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints. And coming back now, 11 laps in, Joe Armstrong looking to have a session disconnection. You see he's not inside the battle here with Sean Rowe or Daniel Mosteller. We do not see him on the track, and we're looking to confirm whether or not he is gone for at least the next few laps. It looks like he's falling down the pylon even further, so Joe Armstrong's night now going to be in disrepair. He fades back now down to 13th and 14th, and we saw this several times out of Armstrong's campaign last season. Internet troubles largely plaguing that number 22 campaign. When they're able to run up in front, they usually can keep it there until there's a problem with the hardware, and that's what has usually done Joe Armstrong in throughout his time running in the IORA Cup Series, and it does it once again. Chase Schaefer maintains an advantage of 2 seconds right now over Sean Rowe. Daniel Mosteller then going to be third, and Alexander Balderas will then be in fourth, 11 seconds back on the top 3. Balderas remains alone in fourth, with Henry Kaloff chasing him down in that number 63. Hunter Bogdan also going to be in chat, representing, of course, the number 48. You can see the Awesome 48 fan, his screen name, and I'll tell you this much, he sees the chaos as well as we do here. The fans, I'm telling you this much, if you got a favorite driver, you want them to get around all the action night, get through without any chaos coming their way, be sure to shout them out in the chat room. We'd love to have your support as the racing goes on. Liking the stream and subscribing to the channel will give you unlimited chat room access no matter what we're broadcasting, and tonight we have not one but 2 races to bring to you in FTN. The Highline Racing League going to be immediately after this broadcast, so stick around here in FTN because we have another stream we'd love to show to you with all the great action of the Gen 4s at Michigan. High speeds, high horsepower, going to be another great show. 9:30 Eastern will begin there, and we'd love to have you to not only watch the IORA Cup Series, but also watch the Highline Racing League as they go at it in Michigan. 2 Northeast races tonight. Watkins Glen going to bring you the first of which, and road course racing is a game of ups and downs. Now, as we mentioned, lap before, Chase Schaefer had a 2-second advantage. Now he's got 2.5 over Sean Rowe. Rowe going to lose about a half second's time that time around, and for Sean Rowe, he knows it's a fluctuating game when it comes to timing and scoring. You can lose 1/2 a second, and it might seem like the end of the world, but if the driver ahead of you or behind you loses a half second right back, it's fair game, and you go at it all over again. Now, think about Sean Rowe's run right now as he's being pressured by Demos, and Daniel goes down to the bottom side. Daniel Mosteller now going for second, has the bottom side through the S's, doesn't have enough though, and he'll have to concede and let Sean Rowe right through. Back and forth game up in front of the field now, and Daniel Mosteller trying to find his way through, doesn't get it that time around, and just like that, fades back again inside the 3rd position, still looking for second. They'll go through the bus stop, now in a single file order. And looking a bit further back, some very close battles beginning to heat up here. It looks like Vincent Guecci on his own in 8th, but he's going to see some trouble, it looks like, out of Sean Conklin. Sean wiggles just a bit, and he continues to wiggle, bobbling back and forth, and now Vincent Guecci is in hot pursuit, coming through this time by the 54 machine of Sean Conklin. Very close to losing it all. He is on edge, goes through the grass just a bit and mows the lawn, but still finds himself in 7th. After a pit stop, Sean Conklin is fast and finds himself just outside the top 5, gaining more time, trying to make something happen, and he's going to get very loose through the first section of the track here, but keeps it together overall. And car control is the big thing about this number 54. Doesn't matter how out of control he looks, he usually has a good grip on it. While it doesn't look to be the case right now, he gains a second right back on Vincent Guecci and gets it going. Unbelievable precision from Sean Conklin, and it keeps him going with no trouble as he comes down to lap number 14. Brandon Dugan going to find himself now in the 9th position. Oliver Quinney rounds out the top 10, and with 22 laps to go on today, as always here in FTN, we're going to crank it up with the best camera partners on the iRacing market. TrackCams22.com provide high-quality iRacing, track, and car combinations for cameras. Over 100 options for you to choose from. Be sure to subscribe to TrackCams for a membership for their cameras, which are updated every season at TrackCams22.com or Facebook.com/TrackCams to get more information about iRacing's leading camera service. With 22 laps to go, let's crank it up here for the Big Apple Grand Prix. Chase Schaefer leads the way as we crank it up with 22 to go, courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. Sean Conklin involved. Yellow flag is out for the second time with 19 laps to go, and you caught it there as Henry Kaloff was flying by during our crank it up. Yellow flag is out, and it looks like Balderas and Sean Conklin going to be both involved with the cause. So let's take an instant replay and find out just what happened here. It looks like the 95 of Alexander Balderas is going to get caught up with Sean Conklin. Instant replay coming this time by. We'll find out what in specific caused this incident as we back it down from our crank it up settings and bring the volume a bit further down. Now at this point, they were already getting away from the wrecks. We'll take it back 40 more seconds and try to find out what's going on. Instant replay going to show you a bit more than what we've seen so far. And Alexander Balderas was the driver ahead of Sean Conklin at the time of this incident. So you're watching now with a drone shot of the incident. Sean Conklin puts some pressure down as they go under the Gold Bowling Bridge, coming to the start-finish line. They're coming to turn one. Let's find out what happens. They go to the braking zone. And Conklin gets loose after pushing Balderas, sends them both deep into turn one, and that's what brings out the yellow flag. Two-car incident, multiple drivers spinning, and that's what indeed is going to really hammer it down. Sean Conklin goes onto the racing surface and spins in front of multiple drivers, and that's what's going to cause the caution for certain. The yellow flag is out with 18 laps to go. Conklin, Balderas, they are the causes, and just like that, we're ready to go at it once again. Second caution of the day after some first lap troubles. Alexander Balderas is going to be in frame, getting back up to the leaders, and already their leaders are bunched up as they go through the carousel. Chase Schaefer leading, Daniel Mosteller is going to be second, and it's going to be Sean Rowe then in third. That's how they're lined up to this point. You're going to see Sean Rowe position number 3, James Thurston going to be 4th, Henry Kaloff 5th, and Alexander Balderas then in position number 6, Vincent Guecci 7th, Brandon Dugan 8th, and now Oliver Quinney is in 9th with Sean Conklin rounding out the top 10. Despite that incident, only one retiree on the day that made it to the green flag in Joseph Armstrong. Rustier Field has at least taken a total of 17 laps. Will Shack, Jackson Carr, 1 lap down as it stands. But 18 laps in, 18 laps to go. We've gotten now past the halfway marker, and we're going to see them come down to pit road for a big run in. Money stop might just be here and now as everyone comes through, save for our lap machines, and strategy going to be on the move with Schaefer and Mosteller leading them down, leading them in. Now drivers coming in this time by expecting 4 tires and fuel to be the biggest move on pit road, as drivers going to be out of view from our exit camera. You'll see him making some more strategic gains. It looks like Braxton Whitaker just made it to his pit stall. So did Sean Conklin. Conklin coming in especially late, and Brandon Dugan's going to have to back himself in with Sean Rowe winning the race off pit road. And then going to be TJ Hanley right behind him. Chase Schaefer in 3rd with Daniel Mosteller then in 4th. Then you'll see it's going to be Vincent Guecci with Alexander Balderas, Oliver Quinney, Henry Kaloff, and finally Braxton Whitaker, as it looks like right behind Sean Rowe, it was Sean Conklin is sneaking out as well. So once again, like it was at Phoenix, it might just be the Sean and Sean show for the rest of the way. And TJ Hanley going to be able to sneak up inside the top 3. But for Hanley, as it stands, of all the drivers still racing, he has the second slowest fastest lap time, shall we say. It's a bit hard to word it, but for a 1:13.905 being his best lap, he is far out of the range of those up in front, so it's a big risk right now, and Hanley hoping to benefit from having that track position as opposed to having to drive through the field. Having the advantage of being up in front to begin with might just be the special way to go. The strategy is a bit different from others, and might just play out in TJ's favor, but it's still going to be a big gamble right now as the 08 machine goes up to the top side. Sean Conklin, Sean Rowe still ahead. The Sean and Sean show comes back in action. 17 laps to go here from Watkins Glen International, and it looks like from there on out, we still have drivers coming out of pit road. Jackson Carr and Josh Kenyon both make their way in once again. The 027 machine is going to be right behind Jackson Carr, and as they come down to pit road to get some extra pit service, they're hoping to have a minor advantage in terms of tire wear and a fuel strategy. And as they both stay on pit road, at least for the time being, they might have not been up in front beforehand, but the gamble is to lose time now and gain it much more later. Will Shack going to be on the way right now, scored in the 13th spot, and Shack going to be puttering around the circuit on his own. slowly but surely getting back into grips of how the car should handle, and it looks like with some damage on that left front, Will Shack takes it way wide, still having some issues here, so we'll see whether or not he can regroup before our restart is in effect. And with Will Shack still having some troubles here, 16 laps to go, going to be setting it down to a total of 15 laps remaining. It's going to be Sean Rowe down low, TJ Hanley up top, and Hanley's going to see some pressure from the best drivers in the field here. And for TJ Hanley, a rookie in the IORA Cup Series, it's been a struggle to run up in front so far this season, but why not immerse yourself with the top talents and see how it plays out? That's the call being made by this 08 team and TH Design sponsorship in tow. They're all coming together and deciding it's best to try it up in front and go from there. But the big word is, as we've seen it in our past 2 attempts to getting the race restarted, it could get wild. And we've seen drivers pushing each other deep into turn 1. If you make it past turn 1, you're solid for a good long run. But it is all about that first turn. If it's not gone through proper, then you're going to see a lot of trouble for the rest of the way. Now coming through this time by iRacing official pace car, still going to take Sean Rowe through ahead. The bus stop, they'll make it by in a short configuration here at Watkins Glen, the most common used circuit now, but instead of using the boot style layout, which has been seen in competition for sports cars, Formula One as well, it's instead the shorter circuit that is being used by the NASCAR Cup Series to this day, and all NASCAR National Series that go to the Glen take this shorter configuration. So coming through the carousel here, as opposed to taking a left turn, they'll keep it straight and come down to the final 2 turns, down to the Go Bowling Bridge, and get back going once again. iRacing official pace car ready to drop in for the second time today. 15 laps to go, and when we get back to it here, it's going to be Sean and Sean up in front. TJ Hanley opts to take the second spot. Daniel Mostella will have to follow that number 08 as they come down to the start-finish line to get back at it once again. iRacing official pace car will take the hard right turn down a pit road and let Sean Rowe get back to business for the second restart of the day. Now, time to get the green flag waving once again from the Big Apple. Green flag's out yet again for the second restart of the day, and we're back on the move from the Glen. Caution flies once again, another incident involving aggression, and it's going to be a textbook move diving into turn 1. That's going to get you. Yellow flag flies again. Let's take an instant replay and find out what caused it, although it looks like it's a very similar incident to that of our first lap shenanigans. So instant replay will show you involved in the incident. It's going to be the number 95, Alexander Balderas. Let's see what happens here. Chase Schaefer looks to have been the catalyst himself in that number 99. He fades back to 12th on the order now. Let's take a look and see where he goes, because they went 5 wide going into turn 1, and you can see how deep Schaefer dives it once again and then makes contact with Rowe, begins to spin, collects Balderas, and they're going to both go up the track and rocket high. It looks like Henry Kaloff caught up there too. 3 drivers spinning. Again, Balderas going to be involved, and the yellow flag is out once again. Caution out once more. Big time moves, big time changes in position, but with 15 laps to go, another caution will bring us back to the yellow flag. 21 laps in, out of 35. Sean Conklin going to take us down and under the Go Bowling Bridge again. The call looks to be no shortened yellow. Watching the admin signals, it looks like it's going to be another full caution with 14 laps to go, and a restart issue comes into play again. It looks like 2 times of the 3 we've gone going in a rolling start, we've seen a caution come out immediately thereafter. Now, first lap was the first caution, then we were able to get about a 17-lap green flag run, and now, with 14 laps remaining, coming off of our second caution directly into our third, trouble brews yet again, and we're looking at a bit more trouble than anticipated. Come through yet again with 22 laps in on the books. Conklin catching up to the iRacing official pace car and taking some flying laps while he's at it. 6 seconds ahead of Sean Rowe right now, and still trying to get up. The Thurston is going to be there in third. Daniel Mosteller in fourth. TJ Hanley only drops back into fifth here, and TJ finds himself inside the top 5. Able to hold on with a gamble so far, not getting wrecked, so it might have played out a bit better than expected. A lot of drivers might have been worried that the driver with less experience would have caused a wreck. Did not seem to be the case. Looked to be the drivers who know they have a chance to win, going deep on that first corner, thinking it's the life or death last lap. Yellow flag brought out yet again due to some very, very big aggression coming through very early into another restart. And now as the field gets bunched up once more, Sean Conklin going to find himself the race leader. Sean Rowe then in second. James Thurston then in position number 3. With 13 laps remaining on the board here, we still have a little bit of time before the green flag is set to fly. So if you want to know more about our FTN doubleheader on the day, we'll be live with the Highline Racing League at Michigan immediately after this broadcast, or 9:30 Eastern. That's going to be our next stream on FTN, and we'd love to have you there as well. Michigan Gen 4s, it's sure to be high octane, high speed action, and we'd love to have you aboard watching another great show in the Highline Racing League. They've been seeing great racing week after week, night after night, and if you want to find out a bit more about the Highline Racing League Premier Series, check out this promotional video we prepared for you under yellow with 13 laps to go. We'll bring you back after this brief promotional break to find out a bit more about the Highline Racing League coming up soon after the IORA Cup Series, only on FTN. And coming back now with an overhead view of the field here in the IORA Cup Series. 12 laps to go, and if you've been watching so far, this has been the Big Apple Grand Prix, Watkins Glen, giving us a great show so far. 3 yellows on the day, and it looks like, unfortunately, we've had ourselves a back-to-back caution situation brought out by some aggression through Turn 1. Turn 1's been the big kryptonite. Every caution so far today has been caused going through the 90, so drivers can hammer it down and get it settled in that first turn. we should be good to keep on going without any other issue. Denny Hamlin fans 23 in chat room, thank you for stopping by. Great to have you watching here on FTN. Been a great race so far, and if you got a favorite driver, be sure to shout them out here as we're set to go back under green. I've been leading you through all the action tonight on FTN. David Troint producing and commentating our FTN doubleheader here on Thursday nights. And now the NASCAR iRacing qualifying series, Road to Pro. They're now no longer on their season for 2023. Off season for them. I've got a chance to go back-to-back here on Thursday night with the Highline Racing League after tonight. But Watkins Glen is not over. The IORA Cup Series still has center stage. 12 laps to go. This time by make it down to 11. Sean Conklin leads them through. Number 54 has got the green flag in hand, and we're coming down to turn 1, hopefully to keep it green. It looks like this time through that we do. Nice to see this time around we make it a bit of a better restart, I'll tell you this much. Sean Conklin, he shocked us under yellow. Now, we did not cover it because we went to our Highline Racing League promotional break, but he ran the fastest lap of the session in its entirety under caution. 1 minute 10.872. It does not count as his fastest lap because it came under caution, but it's still a rapid fast lap as we see trouble into our bus stop. Oliver Quinney gets back on the move. Quinney shakes it off. TJ Hanley also going to be involved. You're not going to get a yellow flag back of the field, and we're still live on FTN here. We'll bring it back to the live feed, and you'll see now Balderas fighting with Josh Kenyon, but the instant replay tells a different story about this wreck. Let's take a look now through the S's here and find out what caused this one. You're going to see Balderas, TJ Hanley, Oliver Quinney all together, and it looks like it began in the middle of the pack here. This is what brought us to an incident, not a caution, with now 10 laps to go. Quinney dives deep, and Hanley's going to go around as well. Nothing causing it between themselves. It looks like single car incidents at the same time, so no longer the driver is going to be in front of the pack. They'll be now way behind. 21 seconds down, it's going to be TJ Hanley, and it looks like Oliver Quinney 16 seconds behind, now chasing Braxton Whitaker. 10 laps to go, and you'll see Sean Conklin making his way up to the front of the field and now making time. He has nearly a 2-second lead ahead of James Thurston. Daniel Mosteller is then going to be third, and it'll be Sean Rowan fourth. All of a sudden, the 54 machine able to take it to the front of the field, and it looks like he's not going back. Green flag lap time by. He ran his fastest officially time lap of the day by over a second. So Sean Conklin coming to his own as soon as we get it back going. He has won every odd numbered race of the season so far, winning the opener at Daytona, then getting it done at Phoenix, and now looking to go for his third win of the season, his 5th race competing. He's going to try to get it done at Watkins Glen. Now into our single digits with 9 laps to go. Sean Conklin leads by 2 flat seconds with James Thurston back in second. Indy, then Daniel Mosteller is going to be in third, and Sean Rowe is going to be fourth. Chase Schaefer position number 5, and Jackson Carter in 6th. Alexander Balderas is now going to be 7th, and Josh Kenyon is in 8th. There on out, Vincent Guecci's 9th, and Brandon Dugan is position number 10. Still going to be 15 drivers driving in this event. It looks like Joseph Armstrong retired 16 laps to go. Rest of your field is still kicking with 14 men on the lead lap. Will Shackley, only of which more than 1 lap down, 3 laps behind your leading man. But Sean Conklin leading the way so far. It looked like he would never get the chance to get back up in front after multiple incidents today, but it looks like things have changed for this Shelby GT500. All of a sudden, for Ryco Performance, Sean Conklin is coming alive, and if you look at our driver telemetry, we can check lap after lap what this kid is doing inside the cockpit. Now, you'll see his fastest lap so far in the session, a 1 minute 11.331 at the line. That is clearly quicker. That's a 1:10.363. Faster by nearly a second flat. Sean Conklin is on rails and pulls through for another rapid fire lap. Huge run that time around, and he's that much faster than the rest of this pack because James Thurston ran a 1:10.743. Daniel Mosteller ran a 1:10 10.837. So Sean Conklin is pulling out all the stops, and he's running out as fast as anyone possibly can at this track. Huge lap there, and that's going to keep him up in front of the lead. So far, you'll see how risky he is through the bus stop. He's going to try to mow all the lawn. Even eating the curbs isn't enough. He'll take it through with the grass not being an issue at all. Arcing it deep into the carousel, late apex, and getting it going immediately after, giving him a much better run. Watching this telemetry and watching the way he drives will give you an understanding of how he positions himself all throughout the track. He is pushing it lap after lap. You can see how loose the back end is getting. Looks like he's going bumper to bumper with someone, but it's only going to be him pushing himself as hard as possible. So loose, time after time, lap after lap. Incredible driving, but that's going to be a bit of a slower lap. 1 minute 11.372, allowing James Thurston to catch up just behind. Now Thurston's making some time. That time through was a 110.688, so now there's an opportunity for Thurston to gain some more with 7 laps to go. With how risky Sean Conklin is driving it, it's a bit better to be conservative and quick than risky all out while you're that much faster. If you got that lead that Sean Conklin does, you don't have to play those games up in front. He's still trying to go for something even quicker, putting down hot laps as the race leader, trying to get those qualifying times in, even though now he's 30 laps deep into this event. 29 going on 30 next time around will take us to only 6 laps to go. Been a fantastic performance so far for the Ryko performance number 54, and Sean Conklin has kept it, not flag to flag tonight, but he has kept it 100% competitive all night long. Now getting that race lead and stretching the distance, James Thurston finds himself second. Daniel Mosteller is going to be third. Sean Rowe, Jackson Carr fourth and fifth, and Chase Schaefer then going to be position number 6, with Alexander Belair still in 7th here, but facing some pressure now from Josh Kenyon. That time by, Kenyon able to gain a few tenths of a second, and let's see if he can do some more as they come around yet again. Coming under the Go Bowling Bridge this time by, drivers are winding down their run, making it 30 laps deep so far. Not much time remaining to make any final passes, so you gotta be as quick as you possibly can be to set yourself up for a good run in the final few laps. Josh Kenyon goes a bit wide through turn 1, that time by gaining 2/10 of a second on Alexander Balderas, and Balderas 30 laps in holds his own inside the 7th spot and sees Chase Schaefer now going to be fighting side by side with Jackson Carr. Schaefer does have some damage though, and that might impact him as they go through the bus stop side by side. Jackson Carr will not give, and he will lose as a result. Jackson Carr goes way wide and gets it going. Now Balderas is going to fight to chase him down, and Jackson Carr, who tried to keep it side by side with Schaefer, will not make it work and instead finds himself losing big time, nearly 2 seconds lost in one corner. Now Daniel Mosteller is going to be creeping up once again on James Thurston. Half a second between these two drivers fighting for the runner-up position. Thurston comes across the line, still has the advantage, but Daniel Mosteller is getting there. Lap after lap, getting even closer to taking that position. And for Daniel Mosteller, who needs a much better run than he had the week before, Kansas, now will be the time to get a second place finish if ever. Knowing that Sean Conklin has been so good this season, already looking for his 3rd win. If Mosteller can't come home with his 2nd, it'd be best to come home with a second place finish to sort of lessen the damage, lessen the blow of having your main championship rival get another checkered flag right before your eyes. As they are going through lap after lap, Mosteller is going to try to eat the curbs even more. Later apex for him might be the move through the carousel, but James Thurston keeps him honest, and they're just about dead even lap after lap. It's no telling what these two can do as they race each other as hard as possible, time after time, nearly dead even. However, Daniel Mosteller was 2/10 of a second quicker on the previous lap. Now going to be bunched up, now 3/10 of a second separate your 2nd and 3rd places. Can they get even closer? We're about to find out. Coming down to the Go Bowling Bridge again, and it will be only 4 laps to go. This time by, as they make it very wide in the final corner, the number 4 of Thurston and the number 87 of Mosteller come through once again, and 4 laps to go. That's the total, with Sean Rowe watching, and he's keeping himself in the wings here, hoping to find a chance to maybe make a pass if these two rough each other up. With 4 laps to go, still possible to see some late race shenanigans here, and luckily Thurston and Daniel Mosteller are both very competitive, very clean drivers, so we should not see an issue from the both of them, but it could happen between our two former champions of the IORA Cup Series, the only two in existence so far, and if Sean Conklin wants to become the next, he has to come through with another win tonight. 4 laps to go for his third win of the season. He's got a lead of only 2 seconds, and it has been fluctuating up and down. Was 2.5, then went down to 1.5, now back up to 2. It's been a bit of a cycle here because Sean Conklin, unlike many in his position, is still pushing. He is going for every 1/10 of a second on the track. That time by, he set his fastest lap overall, a 1 minute 10 second .541. So Sean is still as fast as it gets. Unbelievably quick lap after lap, and this kid is not stopping anytime soon. 3 laps to go this time by for Sean Conklin, taking it down to the first turn again. That was only a 1:10.706, but still faster than any other driver on the track. That time through, James Thurston only comes home with a 1:10.883, and he was slightly faster than Mosteller there, but Mosteller still has the draft, and that's about as valuable as it gets here with the distance being so small between your second and third place drivers. Trouble for Vincent Guecci though, back in the field. Vincent Guecci spins on the front stretch, and he's going to keep it there. Drivers are sliding around him, and he gets it going under green. He gets it spun back straight, but the yellow flag will not fly. So trouble for Vincent Guecci. Single car spin, it appears to be. Instant replay will tell you a bit more about what happened here to Vincent Guecci, as with 3 laps to go, he goes sliding around and slipping and sliding. Vincent Guecci does, and the number 09. Vincent Guecci goes around to the final quarter. Let's take a look and see what caused it. Brandon Dugan making some time. Does he slot it deep? Yes. He makes one piece of contact, and that's enough to send them both up the track, spinning up in a row. It's going to be Vincent Guecci going around indeed, and the yellow flag does not fly. It looks like Guecci going to solve it quickly enough, and with 3 laps to go, we keep it green. Now coming to our penultimate lap with 2 laps remaining. James Thurston is still trying to claw down Sean Conklin. Daniel Mosteller still wants a piece of this number 4, and riding on board with Daniel Mosteller here, taking a look at what's going on inside the cockpit. You'll see how hard he's driving it corner after corner. It's far from over. Even with 2 laps to go, the fight still rages on, and if you want that top 2 position, you've got to fight for it. Now Thurston, you know he's defending, but Daniel Mosteller pulls out all the stops as Thurston goes in the grass and dives through deep, gets it back going, but he's going to have a slow down penalty if anything, cutting through the grass. James Thurston finds himself in trouble, and just like that, he's going to have to fight even harder to defend that spot. If he gets a penalty in any sort, he'll have to slow down automatically and give Daniel Mosteller a shot to make it by with 2 laps to go. Thurston's got damage, but Sean Conklin has got that race lead. Looking for win number 3 on the campaign so far for Sean Conklin, coming down to the white flag this time by 1 lap to go for Conklin as he leads us down to the final lap in the Big Apple Grand Prix. And now all of a sudden, James Thurston, beaten and bruised, is going to have that number 4 machine bobbling all over the track. He has some damage, but wants to hold on just a bit further. Jackson Carr is still chasing down Chase Schaefer after the most recent incident between the two. Looking further back, Vincent Guecci's now going to be chasing down TJ Hanley. That time by was able to make up at least a second on TJ, so should be able to make up at least 1 more position before the job is done. That's a look throughout your field before things are concluded, because Sean Conklin is already coming through the carousel to seal what will be his 3rd win of the tour. That's how good Sean Conklin has been so far this season, and he's already won twice in 4 races. Now time to make it thrice in 5. A road course ace as well. Sean Conklin has flourished to become the most successful driver in season 4, and he's looking to do it once again. Coming across the start-finish line under the Go Bowling Bridge, the checkered flag will fall for Sean Conklin, win number 3 of the season, and he's a jack of all trades. Sean Conklin will win from Watkins Glen International. And as Sean Conklin comes through to take his victory lap, the number 54 comes home on top of the field. Conklin gets it done here in the IORA Cup Series. How about this race? And we'll show you your official race results before his burnout goes any further. Sean Conklin will win over Daniel Mosteller by 3.7 seconds, with James Thurston coming through in third after a late race lunge. Sean Rowe going to be then in fourth, with Chase Schaefer in fifth, and Jackson Carter then in sixth, as Alexander Balderas comes home in seventh, with Josh Kenyon then in eighth. Going to be Henry Kaloff ninth, and then Brandon Dugan rounding out your top 10, with the following going from there on out. Braxton Whitaker 11th, and TJ Hanley in 12th, Vincent Guecci in 13th, and Oliver Quinney 14th, with Will Shack 3 laps down, and Joseph Armstrong and Joseph Tucker being your 2 retirees on the day, 16th and 17th respectively. Conklin continues to burn down the house with further celebration at the start-finish line. And as Sean Conklin continues the burnout celebration, set to get your number 54 in victory lane momentarily, winning the Big Apple Grand Prix here from the Watkins Glen International. The motor will blow, and what a win it is once again. Sean Conklin so far this season has been unstoppable. Third win of the Tour already, and your first of the road course this season. Looks like this 54 team can do no wrong. How do you feel winning once again in the Big Apple Grand Prix?
It was fun. This was definitely a race I had circled on my calendar for a little while. And I will say I didn't drive the smartest tonight. Looks like, yeah, I mean, the wreck on lap 1 looks like it was on me. And then, with me and Throttle, not sure what happened. I'll go look at that one too, but I don't know. I'm very tired right now. I don't know why, but I was tired. Just wasn't driving smart. We pulled it together at the end though. We drove fast, not smart this race, but I definitely do apologize for any of the wrecks that I've caused. And yeah, it was a fun race overall once we actually got the racing in. And yeah, this is definitely a track I knew I would be good at. I came in here with not a lot of practice. I came home like 5 minutes before the race started, so not much practice, but took us a little bit to figure it out, and then once we figured it out, we were good. So yeah, definitely a fun race, and glad to come out here and win it at Watkins Glen.
And putting in another fantastic effort, 15 laps left on that final stretch. You had some troubles early, but you're able to rebound. So how was it managing, as you mentioned, some troubles in working with the field, early yellow flags and all, and eventually getting that track position at the end?
Well, the working through the field part is, so I'm pretty sure what happened. I forget what happened, and I'm like half asleep over here. So, oh yeah. I passed before the line. I didn't pass. Yeah, never mind. I did. I went on green. It's just I passed before the line, and like I said, I'm tired, half asleep, and I forgot that that was a rule. So we got a penalty for that. Went down pit road. Then going up through the S's, I hit the wall, so we had wheel damage. So it was even harder to get back to the field. But then a caution came out, and it was actually with me and Alex. and I don't really know what happened there. To me, he braked like super early, and I just had nowhere to go and got into the back of him, and that was a wreck. And then when I tried to get it back going, the thing gripped up. It gripped up when I was going down the track, and then it went over the seam and it just spun. And I was like, oh boy, we're losing more spots. And then I try to get it back going again, and I'm almost wrecking into the field. So yeah, it was definitely tough getting back to the field. But after that caution, everybody pit, and to my surprise, almost the whole field except for Rose took tires, which is weird because it's faster not to take tires. I mean, granted, like it's faster for 5 laps, and then usually new tires will be faster after those 5. But we just kept pulling away, so I don't know. Glad we can get the track position there because it seemed like track position was key, especially at the end. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
And everything comes together for another win for this crew in the 54. And as you mentioned, you said it earlier, the most recent interview we had beforehand, you are not expecting to make a full-time campaign with such a great start, though. What do you think is next for this team and trying to keep going and with the remainder of the schedule in mind?
I mean, the only races I'm not going to be here is I don't usually have any officials on Thursday night. I'll do like NIS at 3 o'clock, and then usually I'm done for the night. My schedule is normally clear, but if something comes up, because sometimes things come up randomly, I cannot race. So the good thing is if something happens like that, I can put in for a drop week. So who knows? Maybe I will run the whole season. I just like running this league for fun. It's something fun to do on a Thursday night and kind of get away from the official stuff. And don't get me wrong, the official stuff's been going good, but this is definitely fun. Just kind of have some fun. They're short races, and nobody takes it like too seriously. Everybody has a good time in the race, and yeah, it's definitely pretty fun. So I'm gonna try to make a full season appearance, but we'll see.
But such a great start this season. Sean Conklin now going for the full-time campaign, 15 laps led, winning his 3rd race of the tour. Anything else you'd like to add after this night in Watkins Glen?
Just shout out to Record Performance, and that's pretty much it.
There we have it. Sean Conklin comes through for win number 3 on the tour, finishing first here in the Big Apple Grand Prix. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Sean Conklin on the move. Your first place driver comes through by just over 3.5 seconds over Daniel Mosteller and the number 87. For Demos, if it isn't a win, second place is good as well. And for a driver who's also gotten his fair share of success this season, another podium for the 87 team. How you feeling after tonight?
I feel pretty good. I'm a little annoyed at myself. I made a mistake on. Actually, I didn't make a mistake on lap 1. I got caught up in that scuffle. I got stuck to Thurston, and I just got I just got stuck to him basically, and we all just went into the tire barriers, and I had to take my fast repair from there. And I was mired back in traffic, but I did a good job getting back up to second behind Chase. And I was there for up until about the halfway part of the race, and then we got that yellow for Conklin and Balderas. I don't really know what happened there. It looked like Conklin just hit him, and it sucks because I took tires with Thurston and a few others behind me, and I think that was the wrong call. I had stayed on the same tire set that I had used, like when I crashed under yellow, crashed on the first lap. And I thought I abused them, overheated them, but I guess staying on that set would have been better for me. When we finally got that long green flag run to the end, Conklin was pulling away, and I couldn't do anything with Thurston until he hit the wall with 2 to go. And I was able to make that cool pass for second. It's good to be back on the podium. Last weekend was or not last weekend, Thursday. Last Thursday was just a horrific outing for me. Probably the worst race I've ever run in this league. But we're second in the points behind him. I don't know where we go next week, but we'll give him a run for his money. Conklin's been on fire.
We'll tell you this much, we'll be heading next to Atlanta on the schedule, and as you mentioned, it's between you right now and Sean Conklin when it comes to racing up at the front of the field. The 87 needed a rebound run, and they got one for sure, so now with a bit more momentum by your side, what's it going to take to fight back again in Atlanta, maybe to come through with a victory?
Well, Atlanta's good to be a super speedway race. I got second at Daytona, but overall in this league, I really haven't had the best history when it comes to super speedway racing. Really, other than the outlier at Daytona this season, I've been caught up in like literally everything. It's just going to be about keeping it clean. We went there in season 2. Conklin won, so Conklin knows how to get it done from Atlanta. He knows how to get it done from everywhere. So it's going to be a tough task to beat him, but anything's possible on IORA.
And with Sean Conklin being a juggernaut, the two-time champ comes through for another podium on the season. Second place here from Watkins Glen. Demos, anything else you'd like to add?
Thanks to you for broadcasting. Mason for putting on the league, all the admins for doing everything we do. It's a lot of fun. Everybody that races, I think I said you for broadcasting. It's fun to listen back on the amazing calls. And everybody watching back out at home, wherever you are across the world. We'll be in Victory Lane next week.
And looking to come back to Victory Lane with the Demos Hub number 87, Daniel Mosteller, second of the day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a Demos on the move. One more driver inside your top 3. The podium rounded out by James Thurston. A thrilling battle with Mosteller. It looks like Thurston comes home third at the end of the race here. Third place finish from the Glen, dropping down to the final step on the podium. How you feeling after a night in the Glen?
I don't know. That was a race that happened. I don't know. I got wrecked in turn 1 as the leader. Didn't even get to lead a lap that race. But, yeah.
I certainly hope to get a bit more out of the day here as one of the better road course drivers, but still able to hold on for a finish inside the top 3 despite all of the trouble. So how was it managing the chaos to still come through with a solid finish?
I don't know, once you got around all of the mental illness in turn 1 and they just could not decide to stop wrecking. They couldn't stop wrecking. All they could do was just think about how they're going to cause the next biggest wreck in into turn 1 and on. That's all they could think about. But that's I guess the guy that caused the yellow won the race. So I don't know. Maybe that's what I should start doing from now on. But I don't know. Maybe if I took tires at the end, I could have caught him. Just hit the wall and choked second. Good win to Demos.
Certainly not happy about the chaos earlier in the racing tonight. That definitely set the tone. Now Atlanta's up next, another chaotic track. So how's going to be taking it from a road course back to a super speedway style track and hoping to go at it once again for another win of the season?
You know how I feel about that track. Burn it. Just burn it.
And there we have it. James Thurston keeping it brief tonight after a third place finish. Anything else you'd like to add after today?
Thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports. We got third, but we deserve better. Not really better finishes, just better overall race.
And there we have it. James Thurston rounds out the podium tonight for the Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport crew. Third place of the day after a hard-fought battle in the Glen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now, James Thurston on the move will bring you back to all of our final moments of tonight's race. James Thurston in third, and it then came through as Daniel Mosteller in second, and Sean Conklin as your overall race winner here from the Glen. The Big Apple Grand Prix gave us some big-time moments, and I'll tell you this much, we're not done tonight on FTN, so stick around. We've got much more to cover as the night goes on. Highline Racing League begins their coverage at 9:30 Eastern Seaboard time, so stick with us. We'll be back on FTN very soon. We'd love to have you there with us as well. Great to have you all watching live on FTN once again. I hosted you through all the action. Hope you enjoyed our presentation here, as I'll be with you at 9:30 with the Highline Racing League 2. David Kreutz producing and commentating all the action here on FTN tonight. If you did enjoy the show, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Thank y'all once again for your immense support this season and this year. It's been greatly appreciated all throughout 2023, and we hope to have you all whenever we're live again on FTN. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the IORA Cup Series, and we thank you all dearly for your support. We hope you all have a great night, and stay tuned for our next race live on FTN, which starts at 9:30 Eastern, the Highline Racing League and the Motor City 200.